I normally am. I like to try and go live at 7:30, but tonight I had to drive up to Newcastle to pick up my son, and it was just right in the middle of when I normally be online. So I hope you're well. Whatever you're doing, I hope you've had a great weekend. It's Sunday night here, and that makes it pretty cool. So I hope you'll join me, and I'm going to make something fun with you tonight. It won't be a long session tonight. Tonight, I'm pretty tired actually after that drive, and I'm sure you guys are getting ready for the new week ahead. So it'll just be the one card tonight. So let's see how we go. Hey, Helen. Hi, Kay. Good to see you guys here. All right, I'm going to get this phone switched around pretty quickly tonight. Hey, Wendy. Morning. Did you say good morning? Where are you? I didn't realize that you... Oh, we had this discussion before, didn't we? You're overseas. So where are you and what time is it? Okay. So I thought tonight I'm going to use a set that's new. Now, it's not new to everybody else. It came out at the beginning of January in our latest mini catalogue. But it's new to me because I just received it. So when things are new to me, I like to get them out and play with them. I try and use everything that I buy. Occasionally things sneak through, but in Swansea, that's right. I remember now. That's right, in the UK. All right. So I'm just going to grab my mini catalogue. So that's this one. And this one started on the 5th of January. I think it was the 5th. Does it say on the back here? Yeah, 5th of January is when it started, and it goes right through to June. And one of the sets been already quite popular, even though I didn't own it yet, was the Hydrangea bundle. Okay, so it's towards the front of the catalogue, and let's get the phone in the holder so you can see what I'm looking at. Here we go. Just stand up, turn around. All right. So I'm going to pop that there. Can everyone see that okay? There we go. All right, so the Hydrangea bundle, it's actually called Hydrangea Hill. It's this one here, the Hydrangea Hill Suite. And it's got all these, I think what people who love purple love this. Okay, so it's lots and lots of purples. We've got the stamp set and the dies. We've got the acetate, which I'm not using tonight, but I really love this. We've got the, well, here it is here, the sheer ribbon, which is in gorgeous grape, and you can see that's just stunning. This one here, we've got the pearls, the pastel pearls, there they are, and we've got this fabulous paper. Okay, now let me just quickly grab the paper, it's right behind me. You can see I've chopped mine up, so we've got, you know, large hydrangeas, and then as always there's usually a bolder or one type of design. In this case it's florals on one side, and then you've got like either geometric designs or kind of background designs. This is a check. This one I'm using tonight, I'll show that to you. And then we've got like little flower bunches on the other side. This one's unusual. You've got this center space, and then you've got your hydrangeas at each end. And on the back we have some little dots on a Rococo rose background. Then we have some stripes. Really like this one. Haven't used it yet, but I have plans for that. And this gorgeous pink. So this is the Rococo rose, and I think there's some blushing bride in there as well. We looked at that one. Then that one is just lots and lots of hydrangeas, some little flowers on a purple background on the back. Here's some more of that one. This one, bunches on one side of sort of not very realistic looking ones, and then on the other side we've got these little flowers on the Seaside Spray backing. And then more of that one, which we talked about, and that one, which we talked about. Really, really lovely set of papers. So these are 12 by 12. In Australia, they're $20 to buy, but just beautiful. And if you love your purples, then you're going to love this. So the only thing I'm not using tonight on my project is the acetate. Everything else we're going to use. Move those out of the way. There is some really nice samples here if you're looking for ideas. And over the page is the actual stamp set. Whenever you see a stamp set in our catalogue, it is actual size, unless it says otherwise. So sometimes it'll say shown at 50%, but that's fairly unusual, and it's usually for a really, really big set that's going to take up a lot of room. They might show it smaller, but most items are shown at actual size. And then the dies are over here to show you that these cut out some of these images and create some different ones as well. So there are 22 stamps in this set, so it's a sizable set. Move this out of the way. So here it is here. You can see my card we're going to make. Fairly simple card, and I've used a couple of things outside the bundle, but I'll talk about those. So yeah, 22 stamps, and then you've got this like background, you've got a couple of backgroundy kind of ones that fill in more detailed line drawings. So this one colours this one in, but they're much bigger than what they're shown on the outside. So you can see they're quite substantial. It's over 2 pages. So has anyone watching already got this one? I'm just going to go in and see if I can see the comments on my computer. That would be better. Yeah, there we go. Hey there, Beryl, you made it. Hi, Denise. How you doing? All right, I've got to turn myself off on the computer so I'm not competing with myself, because that's bad. All right, so that's what we're using, and here's the card we're going to make. All right, so there's not, like I said, there's not much that isn't in the suite that we're using. Most stuff in this card is in the suite. Okay. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to start with a piece of, this was Whisper White, now we're using Basic White. For those of you who haven't heard, Whisper White cardstock has been replaced, and I hope I'm not scaring anybody by saying that. The new replacement is called Basic White, and it's quite comparable, so really, really similar to what we had before, almost no difference. In fact, I'd say most people won't even notice, but it is a different name and a different number if you're ordering it, so just bear that in mind. Then I've got a piece of Highland Heather. This is one of the colours in the DSP. This is in our subtles, this colour, and I've cut a card front that's going to go just inside my card base like this, so it just fits all the way around with a little border. Okay, so I'm going to put the white card base to one side, and we'll just work on this. I've also got, and I've cut these in advance just to make life easy. This is a piece of my hydrangea paper. If I wanted to, I wouldn't, because I don't actually like the way the green looks with the purple. But it looks okay on this side when you add in some blue and some different shades. So I'm going to use my seal, and I'm going to just do the ends of this, a little bit along the sides. And we're going to line that up so it just fits inside that Highland Heather cardstock piece with a bit of a border. There we go. Isn't it nice paper? It's just beautiful. I really think it's lovely. Now, I'm actually going to use a slightly bigger white piece. This is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. I used this one, which is one size smaller, and actually felt like it was maybe a little bit small, so I thought, well, I'll go with the bigger piece this time. But that means we're going to see less of the paper underneath. So we can decide. You guys can tell me which one you prefer, with the larger piece or the smaller piece, but we probably won't really know until the card's finished. But you can tell me at the end which one you prefer. Yes, I know you've got it, Kay. Oh, you've got yours, Wendy. That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard that there's terrible shipping issues in the UK. It sounds awful. Just really horrible. I'm friends. Do you know Julie Kettlewell at all, Wendy? She's a good friend of mine, and we've been working on a little project together. But she's having all kinds of problems, as I believe everyone in the UK is having problems. So it's really, really sad. Okay, all right. So I'm going to grab these stamps. I've already put some of them on the blocks just to make life easy. So I'm going to start with this one, and I've got a scrap of white paper here. You can see that's where I cut my Stitch So Sweetly rectangle out of. I like these rectangles because they've got that beautiful scalloped edge, and if you can see it, also some stitching. Can you see that? Bring it up close. Trying to get it right in the middle of the picture for you. There you go. You see the stitching? Really, really cool. Very, very nice. We've also got stitched rectangles, which have even more rectangles in the set, but they don't have the scalloped edge. So every now and then, if I'm going for a really pretty card, I like to have that scalloped edge. All right, so I'm going to ink this up. Now I'm going to ink it up in Gorgeous Grape, which is like a darker tone than the Highland Heather that we used before in the cardstock. So it's actually, I didn't want to go with black. I didn't want to, I decided that black would be too harsh. And, oh, I need to have a matte. Let me grab one. I did have one here a moment ago. Here it is. When I'm using photopolymer stamps, particularly larger stamps, I like to have a matte underneath my work. That way I get a better image. It just works better for me. So I'm going to just pop that there. And the matte means my stamping comes out even. Okay, because on a big stamp it's very easy to get it not stamped completely everywhere. See, that's a really nice image. Right, there's a few things we could do with this. We could colour it. So I've got a water pen here that I could colour it in with if I wanted to. But I decided for this time I'm going to cut it out, and I did actually stamp my other pieces. So there is a stamp here that actually fits this. Okay, it's going to colour this in for us, and I'm going to use my Mossy Meadow. You could also use Old Olive. The reason I'm using Mossy Meadow though is I am going to add a little bit of water potentially to it. I'll see how it looks, but if I want to darken it up, I can add a bit of water to it, which will make it go brighter. So I'm going to bring my head in, I'm sorry, into the picture so I can get over the top of it. And the idea is to try and match it as well as we can, but if it's not perfect, that's actually okay. So let's just hold that in place to transfer the ink, and then lift it straight up. Okay, now I've missed a tiny bit here, but that's not going to matter, especially when I bring my pen in, and I'll show you why. I'm going to squeeze it so a little bit of water comes through. And what I've noticed is when I add water to, and this is just, this is actually Whisper white paper because I haven't used all mine up yet, but your basic white would be the same. So you really can use any cardstock. It doesn't have to be watercolor cardstock. But you'll see when I add my water to this, see how bright it goes? So it doesn't really matter if it's a little bit outside the lines because it's kind of giving us that watercolored look. And I'm being really rough with it. This is actually something I love to do. I love to move around the colour on that I've stamped because I just think it adds like life and energy to your project. So that looks nice, like that. Happy with that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my my cut and emboss machine. Just shut these for a second so I don't end up putting my elbows in them, because how many times have I done that? Too many to count. All right. So move that out of the way. So in comes my machine. I'm actually using my big machine today. I find on this desk sometimes I'm going to go sideways because it's a bit, gives me a bit more room, so not completely straight. But I just find for some projects that I'm better off using my bigger one. It just gives me a bit more scope. I do love the small one though for doing smaller dies. Alright, so here's my Hydrangea Hill, or is it just called Hydrangea dies? You can buy these separately, you can just buy the dies, or you can just buy the stamps, or of course you can buy them as a bundle. And when you buy them as a bundle, that's pretty awesome because it saves you 10%. Alright, so I'm going to... Now I find when I want to cut this out, which saves me a ton of time instead of doing it by hand. I mean, I don't mind fussy cutting, I actually quite like it. But the easiest way to line it up probably is to line up the stem. If you line up the stem, then it actually works out really, really well. Alright, so then I pop that down. It'll hold it for me and then wind it through. I find I put my hand up on the top, it just gives it a bit more stability, and I'm sorry if the camera rocks a little bit while I do this. Yeah, I don't know, Beryl, because I actually also felt that I know I like the small one. This is the smaller one. It does show more of the DSP, but I didn't like that it that the flowers sort of went off the edges, and if it had gone completely off the edges, that would be okay, but because it's really similar in colour to the background, I felt like it got lost a little bit, so I decided to try the bigger one and see. We'll see at the end. We'll see what happens. Now, while I've got this here, so that's cut that out, no problems. Just show you. Right, so I've got that cut out, which looks terrific. However, while I'm here, I'm also going to cut out, there's this piece in the dies. I don't know if you can see it. It has like lots of little flowers, and it actually cuts out the flowers but holds them in the middle. So let me bring this up. I hope you can see this okay. Can everyone see that? I'm trying to keep it in the camera focus. These little, it's like it's 3D because all the little flowers that it cuts out, their petals can be popped up. So you get your finger in and kind of push them up, and they look really 3D and really, really pretty. Okay, so that's what I'm hoping to do with this one. Now, I could just colour this in. I could just use, in fact, there's even a stamp that colours it in, and I could do some dark and light, and that would look pretty. But because I thought it looked even more realistic, I'm actually going to use a piece of the DSP. And so this is the piece that I just cut a 2-inch strip because that was all I needed. Let's move this out of the way. I'm going to put this back in. And all I did was put that face down onto my DSP because that's the side I'm going to cut. I'm going to wind it through. Okay. I might be missing a piece, but we'll see. If I am, I can cut it again. That's not a problem. Alright, so this is the piece that I've just cut. I don't know if you can see it very well. You can see it better on the back. See how it's cut all these little tiny flowers? See that? And then this side, this is the side that's going to be showing. I would go through with my fingernails or a little pokey tool. The flat end of the pokey tool would be actually the take your pick tool. That would be quite good to do this because it'd be very easy to flip them all up. So I'll go through and make those look a lot more 3D. Okay, but that's what this little die does. We like that. Putting these all back on. Now, this is the one that I had also cut a piece of. Ah, I see it on the desk. Give me 1 second, I'll grab it. It got left behind. Alright, so that's this piece here. I've cut that out. Okay, so I'll put it to one side. Don't need to cut it again. There's some other little things. There's some cute little tags in there, and there's these little, like a row of little flowers. Those are really cute. There's some leaves. These are detailed leaves, which are really nice. So there's some beautiful dies in here to match your stamp set. It is an easy set to use. Like I said, I've only just got it. I just opened it today for the first time. So, so for me, this was my very first card that I made with it, but it's easy. It's an easy card, even though there are a few steps. Alright, so I've got my piece here, right, and what I want to do is I want to line this up. Just have to work out, I'm going to turn it around about there is right, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put dimensionals under this. Okay, so that's where you might want to go through and tip up your bits first. So I'm pushing up all my little petals. You don't have to do this, but it looks really rather good. I think it's nice. Right, I'm not even going to worry about all of them, but I'm going to have it like that. I'm going to move my machine out of the way. Oh, dropped it on the floor, but that's okay. Well, I dropped the platform. That's okay. Right, so now I've lost my focus again. There we go, like that. Alright, so I'm going to use some little mini dimensionals, just in white, because we're kind of on a white background. And I'm going to put a few around, only a few, because I don't want to if I put them all over the place, I won't be able to lift very many of my petals. So just going to take the backs off those. This on again. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so you can see that there's a little bit of the other one poking out from behind, and that's just fine. It's going to look fine because we're going to put it on a white base anyway. Alright, so that's ready to go. I'm going to put this on here. Now this one does seem to fit better on this size piece. So this is the largest of the stitched rectangles. Oh, Wendy, I'm so sorry. That's yucky, isn't it? That people can't even get their kits. How awful. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because this is up on dimensionals, I'm actually going to put the rest of it on flat. I'm going to use my multi-purpose adhesive for that. So I'm just going to... But yeah, you're right. It's nice to have it smaller to see more of the DSP, but you also... Yeah, you could go either way, really. This is just to compare. Alright, so this one now is on that piece. There we go, just like that. Alright, then I'm going to put this piece on here. Just going to make sure I go do it straight. And I'm going to use full-size dimensionals for that. So 1, 2. I'm in my craft room with the door closed because, well, for a couple of reasons. So that if there's any noise, my kids are around, and if there's any noise, it doesn't interfere. But the real reason is because some of you know that we have a new kitten, and he has been getting into my craft room and causing havoc, absolute havoc. He's chewed up my light box. He's run around the place, grabs ribbons in his mouth and runs everywhere with them, and it's very, very, very distracting. So I really don't want I really don't want him doing his run around. And when I say run, I mean it's at full speed. You've never seen anything move so fast. I don't know how something small can be so fast. So yeah, it's been very interesting to say the least. I mean, we love him. He's gorgeous and he's really, really cute, but man, he's so destructive. I guess it's like having a puppy, but it's just a little bit different. All right, I'm just trying to knot in this, just like that. And I'm going to actually put that onto here, but I'm going to trim it off a little bit. Now, because this is a bigger piece than this one I put the saying down the bottom, and this one I think I'm going to have to put it up here, I think. So it's just going to change my composition slightly. And I've picked one of the stamps from the set. This one says, you are capable of amazing things, which I thought was really nice. There's a nice thank you in there. There's a whole bunch of them. How does Cookie get on with the kitten? Cookie doesn't like the kitten or the larger cat. He's not a fan of either of them. They're very interested in him, but he does not like them. So he hisses at them. I guess I can't blame him, really. And I can't trust them to... I mean, I'd like to think that Merlot would just find him really interesting, but then again, yeah, you just can't trust them. Alright, so I'm going to pop this here, just over that piece there, because I just think it's a little bit too... It can't go here, that's too low. So we're just going to add a little bit of... Although, if I'm putting it over the top of the leaf, maybe I should lift it up. You know what? I will. I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals, even though I've already got sticky stuff on there. So I'm doing this one a tiny bit different to the first one. There we go, just like that. We've got our little bit of ribbon. Now, the next question is, where did I put my scissors? Oh, I dropped them on the floor. That's where they are. Right, these are my ribbon scissors. There's a funny story. Some of you may have heard it before. The funny story behind these scissors. These, I had a pair of this same pair of scissors years ago. Stampin' Up used to sell them. They were like In Australia, they were nearly $60 for the scissors. So, okay, really expensive. And they were the most fabulous scissors, and I always kept them just for ribbon, nothing else. And, you know, if I saw someone about to cut paper or something else with them, I would get very sad, very upset. And then one day my scissors went missing. Couldn't find them anywhere, and it turned out that my young son had used them to cut some Lego in his bedroom. And the scissors after that were just no good. I couldn't even use them. So I bought myself another pair, and once again they were only for ribbon, and I kept them almost under lock and key. Not quite, but almost. The final step with this, by the way, is to add some of these pastel pearls. If you haven't got these are really cool. I really, really like them. And I can use, on this one I used the dark because I thought that went nice with the ribbon. I'm deciding, do I want to do that again, or do I want to go with maybe a lighter colour? What do we think? Do we think dark or light? Yeah, African greys are very confident birds, very confident. Yes, well, that's how I felt about my son using it to cut his Lego. He was not in my good books that day. Anyway, I bought another pair. Better finish the story. And then when we went to Greece with Stampin' Up! Back in 2019, we were getting on. I'd totally forgotten. I'd carried them in my check-in luggage because I knew you can't have them in carry-on. And I took them out at Rome Airport and used them to finish my swaps because I wasn't quite done. And because I'm always doing things at the last minute. And wouldn't you know it, I totally forgot. I put them back in my carry-on stuff, totally forgetting that there is another check-in when you get on the boat. So when we were going through, and I got pulled over by the customs guy on the boat, and he said, no, you can't have these. He took my very precious scissors and dropped them in the bin. And I was absolutely devastated because you can't even buy them anymore. They're not even available for sale. So no more scissors, and I was really, really sad. Anyway, you think the dark? Okay, I'm going the dark. So I'm going to get my paper snips because this is the best way to take them off. For anyone who hasn't seen this, I open my scissors up, and so you might be wondering, how is it that I now have a pair of these scissors again, given that I lost them in that way? And what happened was, on that trip, Stampin' Up! Were doing, as they always do, some, demonstrations of new product and make and takes for us one day. And on the make and take table was about 6 pairs of these exact scissors. And I was like, oh, look what, I said to my husband, look what's on the table. There's the scissors. The scissors that I had got pulled up on, they were allowed to bring on because it was, they were doing it for business purposes, and it wouldn't have been in their carry-on. It would have been in check-in stuff because they're smart like that. And of course, I said to the girl, I told her my sad story, and she gave me a pair of the scissors. How cool. So these are the ones that I got in Greece, and they are for ribbon only, which is why I have the ribbons tied to them. No one's allowed to use them for anything else, and they are the very last pair I think I'll ever be able to get. So that's the story behind my scissors. So there you go. Now you know. And I can tell you, don't use them for Lego. It's a bad idea. Mind you, my son was much younger then than he is now. He's 15 now, but he probably would have been, I don't know how old he would have been, maybe 10 then, if that, maybe not even that. But he wasn't very popular, I can tell you. Alright, I'm popping this on. I've done what you said, and we've done the dark ones. I hope no one said light because... Thank you. This is even a card I considered doing at our next card making class, but you're not going to be there, Jenny, are you? Never mind. There we go. Now we have 2 cards. 2 beautiful cards. A little bit different. So this one's got the smaller scalloped rectangle, and this one's got the larger scalloped rectangle. And this one means you see more of the background, but this one, I think I prefer the bigger one. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Yeah, I think I do too. I wasn't sure until I saw it finished, but yeah, I think the bigger one is right. So there we go. So that's the Hydrangea Hill suite. You're going to see me using it a lot over the next however long, not that long I guess. But if you get onto Facebook at all, please go and like my Facebook page. I'll put the address of that in the details of this video when I post it very shortly. The reason that it's good for you to be over there is that's where I post most of my cards. So I'm not on YouTube nearly as often as I'm on Facebook or Instagram for that matter. I post mostly over there. I try and do creations every day if I can, because that's my job, right? And if there is anything I can do to help you, if you need to have questions about anything, any products that you've purchased, or if you wish to purchase products, I'll put the address for my online stores so you can order your products through there as well. And don't forget, right now it's celebration, which means right now every $90 order you place, you get a free item, and it could be paper, it could be a stamp set. There's a whole bunch of different things to choose from. So do go and check those out in the online store, and like I said, I'll put those addresses in the details. So have a fantastic week, guys. I will be back here next Sunday night for those of you who don't see me on Facebook. Otherwise, I'll see you on my Facebook page, and have a great week. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. You too.